Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction podcast is supported by patrons on Patreon. To find out more or to add your support for as little as $1 a month, visit patreon.com/Manawaker. Welcome to Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction podcast. I'm CB Drogi. This week, I'm Allergic to You, Flowerchild, by Liesl Graber. Today I came home in an astronaut suit on account of being allergic to my wife. My allergies had gotten to a point that every time we got close I sneezed uncontrollably. My eyes crusted shut, my throat swelled up, and my tongue sat in my mouth like a wet sock. And she'd give me that look and roll her eyes way back and turn over in bed with all the blankets in tow. Maybe it is my fault, like she says. I'm too robotic. My joints hang from rusted hinges, moving at right angles. My wife is fluid and earthly, and has always been the dancer. When she goes on her walks, I watch her from our window sometimes. She dances down the street, her skin a glorious spring green, her peony hair dropping petals on the pavement, eyes amber nectar. A trail of ants follows her, marching single file, collecting the peonies that fall. Flowerchild, everybody calls her, in a tone like it's a bad thing. There have been times I wished I could dance like my wife does, feet skipping loopy circles, eyes wide with joy. But my body doesn't move like that. I can only go in straight lines, legs stiff, arms taut like a toy soldier. She used to think it was cute, my straight lines and hinges. She used to come back from her walks with fresh flowers for me, ones she picked in the park or grew from her head, and she'd arrange them on the table in little jars and smile at me, and I would smile at her from the other room and arrange my jar of ink pens and then blow my nose to stifle the sneezes before they came. I don't much care for peonies anymore, if I'm being honest. Which is a shame because peonies grow from my wife's head, and that's something she can't help. I asked her once if she might think of growing something else for a change, like sunflowers or daisies. She gave me another one of those looks, the kind where her eyes pop out, and I wonder for a moment if she is not perhaps a fish instead. I wonder what kind of look I'll get for my astronaut suit. The thing is rather ridiculous. My legs stick out straighter than usual, covered in shiny white plastic. My hands in puffy gloves. Every time I have an itch on my nose, I have to suck my arm out of the sleeve and reach up into the glass globe of my head to scratch it. But if the suit keeps my allergies at bay, I say it's worth any look that comes through that door. When the doorknob finally turns, I hold my breath and wait, until finally she's there in the doorway, studying me with her nectar eyes. Her skin sours in the fluorescent lights. For the first time, she strikes me as out of place, a dandelion growing from cement. She sags against the doorway in a kind of melancholy, as if the sun has cooked the life out of her. "Oh," she says, pink lips pulling down at the corners. I want to take them and curl them back into a smile. "How was your day?" I ask her gently, for she seems fragile today. She is faded. More petals than usual have fallen off, and it looks like they haven't grown back yet. Her scalp is brown and brittle in spots. "I think I'm dying," she tells me, holding out her dappled brown and green hands for my inspection. I turn them over in my gloves. Bits of dust crumble off. "But you can't die," I say stupidly. In the dark corners of my head, a thought sneaks in. I haven't watered her in months. She shrugs past me and crumples onto our bed, scattering wasted pollen. Not a single look, not even a sarcastic eyebrow twitch. I do not like this news. I can see the effects. Our apartment bleached white and clean and colorless, my astronaut suit hung up in a closet like some snake's emptied skin, my stiff legs marching in lines and squares, never circles, my wife's dust in a box on the mantel. I sit on the bed next to her and twiddle my thumbs, unsure of what to do next. She caresses my glass head with her brittle twig fingers, and I watch them scratch across the barrier inches from my face. She closes her eyes slowly like dehydrating leaves. So I say, I love you, just in case it's my last chance, and the words echo through my helmet. Her left eyebrow arches up, unconvinced. This has been I'm Allergic to You, Flowerchild, written by Liesl Graber. For more information about Manawaker Studios' other projects, including books and games, visit manawaker.com, which is also where you should go to learn more about the authors featured on this podcast or to get details about submitting a story. The Flash Fiction Podcast theme song is by Kevin MacLeod. Manawaker Studios' Director of Dice is Ben Baston. I'm CB Droege. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at CBDROEGE. Thanks for listening. On the next installment of Manawaker Studios' Flash Fiction Podcast, over the last 5 years he had erected in various locations gigantic hemispheres of nano-engineered polymer over carbon fiber lattice.